Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Manora. You can call me Caleb, whichever one you prefer. Doing a little bit of a different video today. I'm going to be doing a short tutorial on how to set up a Discord bot written in Python, hosted on a cloud hosting site, which allows it to run 24/7. So this is going to be a pretty straightforward tutorial. It's going to be really jumping to the point about hosting and kind of focusing very little about how to actually run a Discord bot and mostly just about how to get it set up in the very basics and then set up to be running 24/7. So to start off, you have to go to the Discord developer portal. So you have it open here. You can just Google Discord developer portal, or you can type in this URL right here. I'll put it in the description. So when you want to start off, you want to start up by clicking New Application. If you're not logged into here, just log in with your Discord username and password. So you start with making a new application. And I'll just name this whatever. This is not the name of your bot. This is just the name of your application. This won't actually appear on the Discord server at all. But we'll just do test application. And then you're going to pop over here. This is your application page. So there's a lot of different buttons here. Don't really worry about this too much if you're just worrying about creating a bot. As I said, we're going to focus mostly on the hosting part, so I'm just going to kind of speed through this. So you're going to want to go over here, click the bot setting on the left, and then hit add bot. Then you're going to want to give a name to your bot. This is the actual name that appears on Discord when the bot user joins the server. So we're going to do YouTube video test bot. And then we can save the changes there. And then there's a few different things you have to note on this page, mainly the icon, if you want to change the icon of your bot, see what profile picture shows up for that bot. Also the token right here. This is very important. This is what is used to make sure that your code is associated actually with a bot user on whichever server it's on. And then down here is also very important. We have, actually, we're not going to worry about this right here. So there's two different places where you can view the bot permissions. This is one of them. It is kind of confusing because you can see it right here, and this is where you can click like these different checkboxes, and it gives you a permission integer. But we're actually not really going to focus on this because there's an easier way to do this, which basically does the same thing, which is by going over here to OAuth. This is in your application settings part. And then if you scroll down, after you click in the scopes, you check the bot box. You can scroll down, and it will have this same box as we saw before, and then you can select which permissions you want. So I definitely recommend selecting only the permissions you need for your bot and not all of them, because it is typically that's best practice to keep your bot succinct and to the point. And when a user is looking to add your bot to their server, they're not really going to want to give them admin permissions when it's just supposed to reply with a funny image or something like that. So make sure you keep it quick and to the point. For this bot, we're just going to select send messages and manage messages. We'll do mention everyone, add reactions, embed links, view channels. We'll stick with those. You can go through these and select whichever ones you want. They're pretty self-explanatory. And then you go up here. So this is pretty cool. So this link, even if you don't know much about creating a Discord bot, this is basically the link you click on when you have your own server to add this Discord bot to the server. So we're going to want to copy that, and we're going to want to store it for later. So we're going to keep that for later. And so make sure to keep track of that, because you want to make sure you have that. And then we're going to go back to the token, which I mentioned earlier. So I'm going to reveal the token for this bot, but this is a private thing. You should keep it private. It should be hidden on your computer and within your hosting site. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. And this should not be posted publicly to your Discord. Otherwise, people who want to exploit your bot can get in there and then use it to delete all kinds of things in your server. It's not great. So you want to keep this secret. So you can go ahead and I'm just going to click copy here. Actually, I won't even show it to you. You'll see it later when I'm showing you the environmental variable stuff to make sure that this token is secure. So this is how you've created your bot. Your bot is all created from Discord's point of view. Your bot is created, but obviously there's no code associated with that. So now we're going to get to that now. Before we actually get into the code, we're actually going to talk a little bit about GitHub and how we're actually going to have our project backed up on an online server. So that way, if we happen to lose our project files, we will have it backed up somewhere where we can download it from, say if we want to work on a laptop versus our desktop or that kind of thing. And also to make sure we have a good version control to if we want to roll back to a previous version of our software. That's another benefit of GitHub. But we want to basically set up so that we have an easy way to basically make changes, and then our bot will automatically be updated once we say our code is updated. And that basically we're going to be able to do that through making a GitHub project. So first step you want to do is create a GitHub profile. Pretty simple, just go to github.com, create a profile. I'm not going to go too much into that. I'm not really going to go too much into the specifics of Git version control or GitHub in general. If you want me to go into that further, just comment down below, and I can definitely make a video about the specifics of Git version control or using GitHub and that kind of thing. But right now I'm just going to focus on getting right into actually working with the Discord bot and hosting it on Heroku. So first, we want to create a repository. Basic repository is just a project on GitHub. So we want to go ahead and create a new repository, give it a name, create it YouTube Discord bot tutorial, and then give it a description right here. It's optional. We're just going to leave it blank for this video. I'm going to go ahead and make this private just for this video, but you can make it public. And I recommend you make it public if you're making a Discord bot, because open source is always good. It's a good way to share your bot and a good way to allow other people to contribute to it. If you are having it hosted on a bunch of different servers, people might like your bot and want to contribute to it, and having it open source where they can make pull requests and that kind of thing is always beneficial. So now down here, you want to initialize your repository with a README, gitignore, and a license. I recommend actually adding all of these. I'm not going to go into the specifics of any of these, but basically README allows you to create a kind of a description file, which gives a way to download your project, add to your project, how to use your project, what the commands are for your bot, that kind of thing should be included in your README. Basically just a big description file for your project. Gitignore basically allows you to have specific file directories and files that you don't want actually backed up onto your GitHub page, such as a good example of this is having tons of package files, such as if you've used JavaScript before, node modules is a very common folder where there's just tons of files that are created by just running npm install to install the dependencies. We don't want those. With Python, it's not as big of an issue, but you definitely don't want any files that are added from, say, PyCharm adds a bunch of junk files that basically allow PyCharm to easily pick up your project and have all the correct project code. So we definitely want to add a gitignore. They give you a bunch of nice templates here, so we're just going to pick, there's a Python one down here that I'll pick real quick. Python. And then the license, you can pick any of these. I'm just going to go with the typical MIT one. That's a pretty common one to pick. So then we're going to create a repository. I create it. So now we got our repository right here. As you can see, this README file right here is your description. And so now we're on the next steps. So next you want to clone your repository to your computer to actually have this directory on your computer so you can start adding your project to it. So I'm going to do this through GitHub Desktop. You can go ahead and install that if you want. If you just go and Google GitHub Desktop and then download it for whatever distribution you have, whether it be Windows, Apple, Linux, or whatever, you can download it through there. You could also use the command line or your terminal through Apple. I'm not really going to go into the Git commands. I've used them in the past, and I enjoy using them on occasion. But it definitely makes really learning it for beginners a little bit more difficult than just using GitHub Desktop, which I find to be a little bit more intuitive. So we're going to go straight into here. And so to actually clone, which is why I say clone this repository onto our computer, which is basically getting this project onto our computer, we're going to want to do clone repository. And then we can go down here. It's going to refresh, and then we can pick our repository. We can go ahead and search it. There we go. There it is. And then we can go to, want to make sure it's going to the right path. I'm just going to put it in my programming projects folder, and then it's got it right there. And then we can go ahead and clone it. And checking in here in our project folder. So we just cloned the YouTube Discord bot tutorial. Here we go. There's our folder. Awesome. So, and now that we've got our clone project, we're going to actually start and get into the coding part where we want to add our project files, our Python files, and that kind of thing. So let's jump straight into that. Before I forget, Just one more thing before we start coding, we want to make sure that we have our bot actually on a test server where we can test out what the code is outputting and what our bot is actually doing. So to do that, we're going to want to grab that link I mentioned earlier that we need one to save. This one right here with it starts with the OAuth to authorize link. If you can recall, got it from over here. Sorry, this is like a split screen, so it's going to be smaller. When we went through and we filled out the information after clicking the bot scope, and we filled out all these checkboxes. This was actually full screen, so it looked like this. And now we want to click on it and paste it in here. So once you actually click on that link, it brings you to this page right here and so asks you what server you want to add to. I'm going to add it to my newly created test server called Caleb's YouTube tutorial. And then we want to click continue. It's going to ask if you want all these permissions that you set up. If you want to allow all of them, and you're going to be like, yeah, absolutely. You want to authorize it. Say I'm not a robot, and bam. So there you go. Your bot is now added to your server, and it's ready to go once you actually start it up and run the code. Okay, we're going to jump straight into the code. So basically, I opened up the directory that we cloned into with GitHub Desktop into VS Code. VS Code is a text editor. You can also use Sublime, Notepad, or anything like that. I won't go into the specifics of text editors. I can cover that in another video if you'd like. But basically, it allows you to open up code files and edit them, and it gives you nice syntax highlighting based on your preferences. And so basically what I firstly, I went and I created a source directory and then created a bot.py file and then added in this basic Discord bot code to just give a basic baseline, and I'm going to walk through each part of it. So to start off, right up here at the top, I have where I import my packages. The first package being the discord.py package, the second one being importing the bot library from the discord.extension.commands package. This is used down on this line to actually create the bot. We'll talk about that in a minute. Then I import the OS package, which we'll use a little bit later when we talk about environmental variables. So that's just the basic packages. You can import more packages if you want to do very specific things with your bot. Like, for example, if you want to make an API request, you'd want to probably import the requests library or something like that. So now, to go to lines 5 through 7, line 5 is the bot prefix. Basically what the prefix is if you, for example, have the help command. If you want to execute this help command, you have to first start it with the prefix. So if, for example, my prefix here is an exclamation point, my help command would be exclamation point help, and you type that and you hit send in your Discord server, and the bot would respond appropriately. So then we have line 6 is commented out. This is for the environmental variables, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Right now, I actually have the bot token hard-coded here. Like I said before, you do not want to do this. Do not commit this to your project. We will definitely get rid of this before we actually commit anything to our project in this video. But just for the time being, this is the bot token that we retrieved earlier from this page right here when we clicked copy token. I mentioned that in the first clip. So down here on line 9, here is where you actually create the bot using the bot prefix. This is where it's instantiated to be the client. And then we have a few, 2 different client events and also a client command. So these are just very basic. Basically, this client event runs when the bot is started up. Basically, all it does is just prints logged in as, prints the client username, then client user ID, and then a little dash at the end. So this is just printed to the console. This isn't printed to Discord at all. This isn't displayed on Discord to any users. This is just printed completely to the console just for the developer's use. And then we have the second client event called on_message. And this one takes a message as the parameter. And basically, this client event runs whenever a message is sent to a server that the bot is a part of. So currently, when a message is sent to the server the bot is a part of, it will retrieve the display name of the author to that message, and then it will print out that display name right here. And then it will call this. This is a little bit confusing, but basically this await right here will run all of the client commands, or it will make sure to process all the commands associated with whatever message is sent in the server. So now probably what you actually care about is the actual client commands. These are just the basic client commands. Right here I have a command called R, which is, and then the function is called respond. Basically, you denote the name right here. This is what the user has to type into Discord to actually execute this command. So the user would type !R, since ! is our bot prefix, into Discord, and then the bot would respond. With this line is actually executing the response. It responds hello, and then the author of the !R command display name. So I'll show you a little demo of this in a minute, but basically that's what it does. It just responds hello and then your name. And then in this last line, basically runs the client. This is, if you don't include this, your bot won't actually run. It will just compile all your stuff and nothing will happen. So you want to make sure you have this line at the bottom of your bot.py file. This doesn't necessarily have to be called bot.py, but for this example, we're calling it bot.py because that's typically what I call my main command file in my Discord bots. So what happens when we run this locally? So we can jump in here. We'll navigate to where our bot is. My bot is in my programming projects folder, and it's the YouTube Discord bot tutorial bot. And then we have our bot.py file in the source folder. So we have navigated here in the, I'm just using Windows PowerShell. And then I'm going to open this as a split screen on the side to see our YouTube tutorial Discord server. And then if we want to actually start up a bot, as we can see right here, our bot is currently offline. We can run Python bot.py to actually start our bot. We click enter, and then it starts to run. It takes a minute. Then it prints out that logged in as our client name, and then this is the client ID. As I mentioned, that was actually in the code right here. This is what's run when on ready. So you can see that was printed to the console. So we now can see our bot is online. It's under the online bit, and then we can actually run our little test command that I mentioned, !R, and then the bot responds, hello, Caleb. So awesome, we have our basic bot working. However, as I mentioned earlier, this right here is the hard-coded bot token, and we don't want that because that could be a security leak. So next we'll talk about how to actually get environmental variables working, and we'll replace this line 7 with this currently commented out line 6, and we'll get to that next. Okay, so now we can get into setting up our environment variables. So we want to make sure that our bot token is nice and secure. We don't want to have this string right here out in the open, so we want to set it up so that that information is stored on the back end where users can't see it and malicious bots can't steal it as well. So to do this, if you're on Windows, you can go down here and type environment variables. If you're on Mac or Linux, it's going to be a little bit different to get there. You'll have to look that up separately. We're going to want to click on here, edit the system environment variables. It brings up the system property window. You're going to want to click the environment variables button in the bottom right hand corner, which opens up here. You can see there are user variables and also system variables. We're just going to want to focus on user variables for this project, and this is where we're going to want to create our bot token and its value. So we want to click new right here. We have the variable name, which we want to be YouTube bot token. I typically keep these as all caps with underscores between the words, just to keep it uniform for my bot tokens. And then the value, we're going to want to grab that from this bot page on the Discord developers portal. Click copy right there. This is the same token I had hard-coded in my code. It's just easier to get here. So we're going to paste this right here, hit OK, and now we can see it's been added down here in the user variables. I'm going to click OK. It's all working. OK. Okay, so now we can go back to our code. We can get rid of this entirely, and then we can replace it with just getting that environment variable with the name YouTube bot token here. And so now we can test that this works in our code. Just a quick note right here, before you jump straight back into your command prompt or your Windows PowerShell and try running your bot again, the environment variables actually do not refresh until you restart your PowerShell or command prompt. So you want to make sure to exit out of there and then come back here and re-navigate to your thing before actually attempting to rerun your project. And then we can run python bot.py and go ahead and run it. And look at that, we're logged in. It's all working with our new environment variable token. It's all running all good. We can go in here and click on Discord just to make sure it's running. We'll run the exclamation point R command again, and then the bot returns hello Caleb. So awesome, it's working. Our environmental variables are all set up locally. Our bot's working perfect locally. All right, I'm gonna focus on hosting in the next video, as this video has gotten a little bit long. But if you guys did enjoy this video where I focused on building a Discord bot in Python and also getting it to run locally and have it run some basic commands, and you want to see more of it, make sure to leave a comment, a like if you have any questions about something in the video, or if you want me to focus on something very specific in the video in more detail, like version control or how to build more complex Discord bots or how to use different libraries, that kind of thing. Definitely make sure to leave a comment and I can focus on it as well in a future video. As always, make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you want to stay up to date with my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.